All right, now open up. Yeah. I thought you were the one that took my watch. Got it. How's it going, everyone? This is Sean from the Colonial Barbell Club, and I'm gonna get up close and personal with this gator. Come on this journey with me, and let's see what she's got. How's it going, YouTube? We're back for another review. This is the RitFit Gator. I got this bench in for review. RitFit did send it to me, and I'm going to do a very honest review of whether I like this bench or not. I'm gonna go through all the specs, all the different seat combinations, because there's quite a few, some of the key features, and we're gonna see if this would be a great addition to your home gym. If you like this kind of video, hit like and subscribe, put a comment down below, and then help me support this channel. Now we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the RitFit Gator. To start off, let me categorize this bench a little bit. There's been quite a few three-piece benches come out in the past several months, like the Makola Bastet, the OG, which is the Exponent Edge Infinity Bench, and then you got the Prime Shorty. Now, the reason I call it a three-piece is because, voila, it's not a magic trick. It comes with this cool pin, and you can lower this bench pad, or lower this head pad rather, and you can put it back up, throw the pin back in, and you're good to go. I've been really enjoying this bench in the various exercises I've used it for. Kind of to start off with the nitty-gritty, we're going to take a look into the basic features of this bench before we dive into the fancy stuff. Now, as you can see, this bench does have 10 different backrest adjustments, which gives you a lot of variety to do all of your different types of lifts at different angles. You also have 3 different decline settings, which I'll get into in a little bit. And if you look under here, you've got a 0, 15, and 30 degree increments for your seat pad, which gives you a total of 21 different adjustment combinations, which is very nice. You do have your knurled handles right here, which is great for moving the pad up and down. So I'll demonstrate right here. So you can bring it down and then safely down to a good resting position. Now, looking at one premium feature is this headrest right here. Take out this pin that flops down. You can choose to insert this pin. Now looking here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 where this rod is going through. Different headrest configurations, and I'll talk about more of the headrest in a little bit. And then, well, what are these for, you ask? Oh, those are for the arm pads, which, pretty simple. They go in. You'll see it's threaded at the end. You can see the threads in there. Just go ahead and throw that in. Twist until it gets tight. It does take a little bit extra time to twist, but once it is in, it is nice and secure. There we go. And that's not going anywhere. Now, this bad boy boasts a 1,600 pound weight limit. Now, I do not have the weight to really test that. Call your mother. But I will tell you that this headrest by itself has a weight rating of 396 pounds, which, do not try this at home. I will put my big old butt on top of this pad, and voila. So I'm about 240 pounds, and this thing's not going anywhere. So if you decide to do some real heavy seal rows, it's definitely going to hold you up. Now, I was told by RitFit that the way they tested this is they stacked 396 pounds worth of weight on top of this headrest and held it for an hour, and there was no bend anywhere in this mechanism. Now, getting into some more specific specifications about this bench, we're gonna go through and measure everything. Probably at the widest, the headpiece is around 11.5. Bench pad itself was around like 11.75. Same thing with the widest point of the butt pad. Then tapers down to about 8.5 inches. For the power lifters that are interested in this bench, it does meet the 17-inch requirements. For powerlifting competitions, this pad itself, 2 1/4 inches. Now this is a pretty thick pad, which I thoroughly enjoy. You definitely know you're on this thing when you get ready for your bench or any lift in particular. One thing that I'm not a fan of, RitFit, see how I'm putting pressure down, but my hand is still sliding. I'm not a big fan of this material. If RitFit were to come out with another version, which I hope they do because I like this bench, if they updated their bench vinyl, if they were somehow able to get the clean grip that Rep has, I'm a big fan of that. And you'll definitely know that you're not moving from this bench. I never really felt myself move while I was using it. So once you get locked in, you get in position, I don't really feel any movement. This one goes out to all you gap aficionados. This has a fairly wide gap. It's about 2 inches or so. If that sort of thing matters to you, or if it feels uncomfortable for you, I completely understand. I never really felt it. Now, one feature I was really excited for testing with this RitFit is the fact that it can store upright, because before I had an AB 3100 from Rep. It did not store vertically. It did cause some clutter during my workouts, after my workouts, because you would have this bench in the way. So getting this out of the way is a game changer for me as a very small garage gym owner. Now, you will see I'm going to pick up on the knurled handles down by the ladder. I'm going to sit it down, and then I'm going to use the knurled handle in front here, which is very nice because you can get a good grip on it, and then simply wheel it to its spot until it is ready to be used again. I love that so much because now I have all this room for activities.
So many activities!
Now, I've talked about this to other reviewers with actually other benches that have the same problem where they have not great wheels or a terrible wheelbase. My suggestion were to be if companies could invest in maybe like rollerblade wheels or skateboard wheels, stuff with good bearings, wider wheels, things that just turn a little bit better. I think that would be beneficial altogether. Like I said, it does move, but you get to a point where it doesn't like to move, like that right there. I think it would be a great idea for companies making benches that want wheels and movability, that they should start putting in nicer wheels, in my opinion. Now this puppy does do decline for all your decline work. I will show you how that works. Now, if you look right here, you have this pop pin. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. You have this pop pin right here, which allows you to move this stopper up and down. So you have 3 different settings. I have heard some complaints from other reviewers talk about the kind of the lack of decline. The RitFit did come out with a fix in which they send out a new ladder that would allow it to do more of an angle for decline. I chose not to bring that up because I don't do a lot of decline work anyway. If that is a problem with you, contact RitFit, and I believe they will send out a new ladder. Don't take that to heart. That's just what I've heard. Going back to the pad, I will then drop it down. There's what seems to be 0. One of the other critiques about the decline settings is that there's no real indication whether you're at 0 or other decline settings. So I will go ahead and show you one decline setting. And you see, that's the lowest right there. There is, I don't know, probably about a 2-inch gap in between the headrest and that plastic pad that protects this piece. So that's what they're talking about as far as not having enough decline settings. I believe with the manufacturing or the engineering of this bench, they ran into that. I was told that if there is a version 2, that they would fix that. But again, I'm not the biggest decline guy in the world, so that's just fine with me. Now, going into assembly of this thing, I did a full unboxing and assembly video earlier on my YouTube channel. The whole bench is basically put together. You have the pad already attached to the frame. You have these arm rollers or leg rollers, whatever you want to call them, in a separate pocket of the box. And you really are only putting together this front piece right here. It was a real quick assembly. Some of the QC, some of the quality control that I looked around this bench is okay. This post right here is dimpled, meaning the metal dips in to the middle. A lot of that comes with over tightening of bolts and such. So I would imagine that this thing, when it was shipped, this knob here was over tightened. That generally leads to this dimpling. Did not affect the post at all, which is great. I did bring that up to a rep from RitFit, and as I told you, it doesn't affect the function of this, so it's not that big of a problem. Now, one big thing coming out with benches this year is an ecosystem. Benches are coming out with a lot of attachments nowadays. You've got the ABX from Freak Athlete. You have the Apex about to come out from the Tib Bar guy. The Buzzsaw bench from Bells of Steel. A lot of those benches have multiple attachments, so you can use your bench for more than one thing. I love these rollers. I think they were a great addition. One thing I brought up to RitFit about was if they were to make an ecosystem, if they could take this post off and then put in something like a bar to hold your curl bar. When you're setting up for your curls, you got your elbows locked in here, and with this post removed, you can have your, I don't know, post here, some angle coming out here, an angle coming up, and some small J-cups. And right here would be perfect for doing curls straight onto this bench. Now, going into the final verdict of whether I think this bench is worth it to the gym owner, the budget gym owner, the garage gym owner. I think this is a great addition to any home gym. I have kind of deemed this the Swiss Army knife for budget benches. I've done quite a few different exercises with this bench, not to mention your curl variations and your benching, but you can do things like seal rows, what we call Kelso shrugs. Putting this thing up with any type of cable machine just unlocks so many different exercises that you can do. Previously with the aforementioned Rep AB 3100 bench I was using, when I would do chest supported rows off of my cable machine, often the bench pad would be getting rather fresh with me. It'd be getting very intimate. Whereas with this bench, even if I put it up to 85 degrees all the way up, my head and neck are free to move around. So I can do my rows, well, without these pads here, I can do my rows without headbutting the pad, which I thoroughly appreciate. Now the big thing you're wondering probably is the price. With all these features, this has to be a super expensive bench. No, it is not. This bench right now is going for $359.99, which is a great steal for a bench that can do so many different things. I am a huge fan of versatility in the home gym. When you buy a piece, you want it to do more than one thing. Whether it is Kelso shrugs, whether it is chest supported rows, seal rows, your regular benching, split squats, whatever you can think of, you can just about do with this bench. Now, if you liked this review, hit like and subscribe, comment your favorite exercise to do with the RitFit Gator, and I will see you at the next review at Colonial Barbell Club. Peace.